lessons I've learned in my role and career that I think is probably my most valuable skill as well as lessons is the need and the ability to translate between different types of people and stakeholders. So I think too often when we try to bring design, technology or data to a traditionally kind of domain-heavy area, such as a built environment or housing, people might talk in their own languages. So we talk about agile, we talk about kind of synthesis, like how we're making sense of insights. And that can kind of mean a barrier to change and a barrier to kind of transformation. And I think the biggest learning for me is having empathy for the people you're working with and their background, whether they're policy professionals, whether they're from housing associations, whether they're from government, whether they're from housing bodies, to understand their context and their language and be able to play that translating role between all of the people involved in the work. So I think for me at TPXimpact, it is probably the only place, I think, at the moment for me where we get to work on major transformation and innovation in the built environment space. Is probably the only place I think where I get the opportunity to blend kind of my deep housing domain experience with my interest in user-centered design, policy design, and taking more data-driven approaches. So just being able to blend those two experiences and passions, I think is really unique about my work here. I don't think I can find that elsewhere. So advice I would give to anyone considering a career in place and infrastructure, if I was to be starting out again, it is a really impactful space to work in. Like, you will be able to have impact whatever area that you go into in your day-to-day job. But don't worry if you don't find your space right away. So I started out in construction as a contract manager, and it was really interesting. I got really great experience, but ultimately the kind of housing delivery side of things just wasn't right for me. But those skills and that knowledge will always stay with you, and they'll always be transferable to other areas.